Everyone get excited because we're finally going to see next generation gameplay this week. Before we delve into the topics, I'd really like you to like, share and subscribe so I can keep you up to date with some gaming news. So Microsoft finally revealed that they're going to have an event on May 7th revealing some next generation gameplay. We're finally going to see some, aside from some cinematics. Finally, we get to actually see some gameplay for some of these games. Everyone is speculating that this is pretty much just going to be a third-party reveal for different games, and then Microsoft first-party games will be revealed in June. This is all just speculation on my end. However, doing some research of the different types of studios and what they've been working on, I can get a good estimate of maybe what's going to be revealed and shown at the event on May 7th. Now, what we do know is that IGN is having a Summer of Play event to replace E3, and they've announced, developers such as Namco Bandai, Sega, 2K, and THQ Nordic will be there in presence. So with that, I don't expect them to reveal too much on this stage. Maybe they'll just show a trailer and then in-depth gameplay during that E3 event. For example, one we know is 100% going to be at the Microsoft's event and also be at IGN Summer of Play is Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red has teamed up with Microsoft, and we're expecting to see more in-depth gameplay of Cyberpunk 2077 in a few days' time, and then as well as the IGN Summer of Play, because that game is pretty much all ready to go, and remember that game was supposed to already be out at this point. The next game that will be 100% a sure thing at this Microsoft event will be Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. We finally got a reveal trailer, and we got a few little tidbits here and there. Mainly that it's going to be focusing on this town/hub that you'll be upgrading over through the game. Now, this is actually quite interesting because I really like that concept. You've probably seen it before in many different things, such as Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and other things like that, where you've kind of slowly incremented your ship, for example. And obviously, Vikings do have ships, so we'll see different types of ship structures to upgrade. But on top of that, we'll have like a homestead kind of structure to build up, and I can already see it now in my head. Now, a lot of people don't really like having an upgrade system, and it really bars you from certain things in the game and makes the game quite long. However, I always like those types of things, so we'll be probably seeing a lot of different things of upgrading an armory or mills for farmers to get you income over time. So it's going to be one of those features that keeps the gameplay going over and over again, and extending the stay. It is quite interesting as well, because I'm assuming what's going to happen, much like in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you had these battles between Sparta and Greece. I think it's going to be the exact same type of thing, but for Vikings and maybe England, and you have these invasion storylines, and maybe they even bring back gameplay of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where you have your own assassins that can do little missions while you're away. I think that's pretty much what's going to happen, and it'll be a little Vikings going out to invade different parts of Europe at that time. So I can't wait to see more of this gameplay and more what Assassin's Creed does to reinvent what's going on. A game that was already supposed to be coming out by now is Watch Dogs Legion, and maybe this has a chance to also be on the Microsoft stage again. So maybe Ubisoft will double dip with this, but maybe they'll leave it for example, something like the PlayStation event whenever that happens. So then they got presence on both sides of consoles. Either way, it's really funny that how the original Watch Dogs was there for the original 360 generation to Xbox One, and now we have the Xbox One to finally we get a next generation as well. Of course, this is all planned to be on normal consoles right now, so the Xbox One as well as the PlayStation 4. However, of course, there's going to be upgrades and next generation versions of these games as well. Another thing that Ubisoft might have up their sleeve is a new South Park game. Last South Park game we had was in 2017 with A Fractured But Whole. Of course, this is purely based on Trey Parker and Matt Stone and their schedule, and if they wanted to write another South Park game, because Ubisoft is quite busy with other things. For example, the main studio of Ubisoft is of course doing Beyond Good and Evil 2. Maybe that gets a reveal as well, like another reveal, but I doubt it. I still think that's probably going to be waiting another year for that one. Okay, moving on to EA. Obviously, with a lot of EA stuff, you're bound to see a lot of sports games. So I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of sports games. Maybe they'll also do another Need for Speed that's coming out for these generation of consoles. They might show that. But there's really, in general, not much actually coming out from EA that we do know of. What I think they might do is, Jedi Fallen Order was quite a success, so I think they might do some Fallen Order DLC, as far as I know. And we do know that DICE is also being missing in action, and they will be for quite a long time, because they're not supporting Battlefront 2 anymore, as well as they're not supporting Battlefield 5 anymore. What a lot of people do want is an official Battlefield 5 or 6, depending on what they do with it, a modern day shooter, as we can see with the success of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It seems right to go back to Modern Warfare, and as a fan of the Battlefield series, to finally get back to Modern Warfare and have those 40 times scopes jumping out from parachutes. So I do expect to see a new Battlefield game coming out at some point. Next one is Warner Brothers Studios. They have quite a lot, and they're also quite secretive. We do know that there's going to be another Batman Arkham game or another Batman game that focuses about the Court of Owls, but we don't know if this is going to be a big title, or is it going to be a mobile title. We have no idea. It'd be really cool to see Batman come to the spotlight in gaming and do something revolutionary and very different in the Batman games. Obviously they've had a lot of time since the last Batman game in 2017, and also they had a VR game, but I guess that doesn't really count that much. But we're all expecting a new next generation Batman game, fully immersive world, and a unique, cool storyline. Another thing as well is that there was a while ago, and we still think it's going to happen really soon, and they're going to finally announce it, is the leaked Harry Potter game. But what we know is that this is a RPG game, so you probably make your own character, pick which house you belong to, and go off and go on adventures and things like that. I think the Harry Potter games have been quite lacking, and it'd be really cool and interesting to see what they do with the magic system, where you have a wand and maybe it's a third-person cover shooter. I think that could also work as well. So we know this game does exist, and we're hoping to see this leak either on the Microsoft stage or even Sony stage. Another thing that has also been kind of leaked, and it's pretty much confirmed, is Injustice 3. So we know that this game is announced, more or less, and we know that it is coming out in the future. I'm not quite sure if we're going to see this on the Microsoft stage or the Sony stage. Just depends on where things tie. NetherRealm Studios pretty much a game every 2 years, and they're quite actually quick with them. So obviously we're probably going to see a 2021 release for that. Another game that Warner Brothers Studios are currently working on is the Lord of the Rings Gollum game. It is expected to release around 2021. We have no reveal / no gameplay of it yet. However, we are expecting something in the Middle-earth world at the current moment. And it has been quite a long time since we've seen a Shadow of Mordor game, so this is something different, and it'd be really cool to see what Lord of the Rings does next. Next up is Bethesda, and Bethesda as a whole. In the past, they used E3 as a way to announce games. However, I don't think they're going to be releasing anything big. However, I'm saying Bethesda as a general publisher, because they have quite a lot of things going out. Doom Eternal is already out. Maybe they'll announce a new DLC and also an upgrade to the next generation consoles, free on the Xbox, for example. But maybe we'll see stuff from Tango Gameworks, for example, Ghostwire Tokyo. However, I do feel like that is a more Sony branded game, but we'll see that in the future. And also, I'm really excited to see what Arcane Studio does with Deathloop. I think they're one of the most innovative, creative game design studios out there, and they don't get the recognition that they deserve, because they deserve way more. So I hope Deathloop, we see some official gameplay of that, and maybe a release date, maybe this year or next year. Now, I'm not expecting much from Capcom, because they're more centered towards Sony and Nintendo side of things, but if they were going to reveal anything, I think that I would be revealing Monster Hunter. That's a definitely big deal in Japan, and maybe they're trying to appeal Monster Hunter to the Western audience. Resident Evil, I think it's too early to reveal the Resident Evil 4 remake. Maybe some DLC for Resident Evil 3 or something along those lines, or even finally we'll get to see 8, the rumored 8 that everyone is kind of leaked about as well. Other things that might be quite interesting is also Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma is one of those unique and interesting RPGs where you get to climb on monsters, you have weak points, and it was quite an interesting RPG. It was a really good mix of something like Shadow of the Colossus mixed with something like Dragon Age, and it'd be really unique and interesting to see a next generation version of this where you can climb on bigger monsters and have the better technology to do so. The final thing for Capcom is a unique thing that I don't think is going to happen, but it'd be really cool to do, is to have a Dead Rising remake / HD remaster. I think The original Dead Rising obviously came out on the Xbox 360, and it'd be really cool to see Dead Rising come back. Obviously, it is a multi-platform title, and obviously Dead Rising 3 wouldn't have came out if I'm pretty sure Microsoft didn't pay the bill for it. So either we're going to be seeing Dead Rising 5, or we're going to be seeing a HD remaster. It'd be really cool to see Dead Rising come back, and I feel like, especially with the new next-gen technology, it'd be really cool to even showcase more and more zombies. However, I do know that Dead Rising over the previous years has been lacking in sales, so I don't know if Capcom is going to leave that franchise to be dormant for a while. For Square Enix, I don't think that we'll see the mainstay Final Fantasy titles to be announced on the Microsoft stage, because as I mentioned before, much like Capcom, they usually partner up with other Japanese companies such as Sony or Nintendo. And of course, everyone speculated that Final Fantasy VII Remake is obviously going to be coming out on PC. Who knows if it will come out on Xbox, because we do know that it's a semi-exclusive deal for at least a year. So I doubt they'll announce that it's coming out for next generation consoles as of yet, as it's too soon. However, I do feel like maybe in the year's time, we'll see an update on that. But I do applaud what Square Enix has done, especially with the Microsoft Studios and what Phil Spencer has done. You know, if you remember back to E3 and the Xbox Game Pass trailer, we saw that, you know, all the Final Fantasies will be on Xbox Game Pass, I think, at some point throughout this year or next year. It'd be really cool and interesting to show that off as well. I think what Square Enix would do for the Microsoft stage is more the Western development side of things, for example, Crystal Dynamics. So obviously they're working on the new Marvel's Avengers game that'll be coming out. Now, to me, the gameplay looks okay, but I'm hoping to see a lot more in this game and a lot more interesting things that happen. Obviously, Crystal Dynamics are a unique and amazing studio that I think have quite a level of polish, especially with the new Tomb Raider games. So I'm hoping that Marvel's Avengers, the game, is going to be something to blow people away, and it'd be really cool to see next generation gameplay for that as well. Another studio that we know has at least flirted with Microsoft before is Crytek. We do know that the Crysis HD remaster / remake is happening, so it'd be really cool and interesting to see that game kind of running on next generation hardware, making the meme come true of, you know, can your PC run Crysis? Now it's going to be, can your console run Crysis? It'd be really cool to see that. Another thing as well, maybe they bought out the IP as well, and they're working on it as well, but also Rise. You know, Xbox One launched with Rise, Son of Rome, and it'd be really cool to see another version of Rise. I think it didn't get its due. I thought the gameplay was quite alright. I think a lot of people said it was filled with button commands, and I didn't really mind that much. I thought the gameplay was okay, and it looked really beautiful. So I'm hoping to see maybe another Rise game, something set in that series. And I think essentially what Microsoft is lacking is that third-person hacker slasher genre. It'd be really cool to see Rise come back. Now finally, this is just complete rumor, and this is what I personally would really love, but I'd also really like to see something what Ken Levine has been doing. Bioshock has a special place in my heart. It'd be really cool to see their new studio, Ghost Story Games, to finally reveal their next game. Now obviously I don't know how big the studio is and how long they've been working on their next generation game. However, I do hope it's something as immersive and as amazing as Bioshock. So there you have it, guys. That's kind of my rundown of what I think is going to be shown, or more likely to be shown in this event. Now, what I assume after this event is done, Sony's going to come up and also reveal their event. So any games that I've talked about on this list don't get shown at this reveal. I bet it's going to be shown at the Sony reveal. Either way, I can't wait. I'm going to be live streaming the event on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to my channel and like it, get that bell for notifications, so then you can see me and my reactions to it.